beautiful Mexico City is where we start the season for America and FC Bayern out of Munich. Couple of things to get through before we introduce our starting lineups. Around the league, you've noticed a lot of players asking for permission to head home, fix what's going on in the African continent. Bayern has foregone allowing any of their players to head down. However, America has sent Egyptian Abbas Madarai, Kwame Nyarko, and Michael Bizliguita. I probably butchered that really, really badly. However, the players that are here today are going to kick off our season. First with America, a 4-3-3, which we saw them run all preseason. Every player that is in their starting 11 appears to be listed as a goalkeeper, which little bit of a unique strategy, if I do say so myself. Preseason, we saw them try running this to very, very little success, but Alejandro Mesa Diaz sees something in that side that can perform. Bayern also running a 4-3-3, a little bit wider, however, and using traditional players in the outfield. You see anchors like Eugene Q in the middle, Chigon Agbanlahor playing a little bit farther back than he may be used to, and a couple more strikers out on those wings instead of traditional wingers, but whatever works. These two teams were my preseason bottom two of the table. We might see something interesting where a team that I thought might not do so hot outperforms, and it could start right here as we get underway. You can see in the movements of America that they are not the most athletically gifted squad, and their outfield play might be a little bit lacking, seeing as how most of them are used to standing in net and catching the ball as opposed to actually having to play it forward. But good play so far. Castillo. And that's just how quickly it can happen moving forward. This is clear which team has the better athletes on the field right now as Pedro Pereira gets into the box. Nice over the top chip. And in their first time of asking, Bayern have put one in the back of the net. If this is how things hold, it's going to be ugly. I question what Mesa Diaz was doing with this lineup. Great chip ball, though. Great over the top. Well played, off the volley. And it looks like it might have clipped the inside post just a little bit to get past Sasha Ziegler. You have to feel that America is completely outmatched. Their fans are still in it. They haven't given up yet, but Gustavo Jimenez leads us off with a very nice goal, but a not well-contested play whatsoever. Although, nice probing ball from America. Botaka gets on top of it. And actually, good pressing play from the all-goalie side. Was not expecting to see a play get shot through like that as we return to the goal. Just well taken off the volley. Javi Chavez, keeper from Colombia, plays it out to the top of the box. An interesting chance. I'm surprised that Bayern let that get through, but great scoop up by Peterson. Bayern advancing, getting the ball back under the feet of Pereira. Agbanlahor. Baquero. It's now hard to tell which team feels more comfortable with the ball at their feet, as Jimenez gives it up and takes it right back over to Meyer. Lostakovs with a great step across by Stephenson, the Icelandic keeper. I have to keep reminding myself that these guys are playing so far out of position and it's unnatural. Maybe criticizing them too much is unwarranted, but if they're on that field, you can only call what you see. Lostakovs. Great save by Ziegler. You can see the frustration. He knew it was one-on-one. Ziegler gets down and gets a great foot to it, but the chances are there. It's going to be a very, very difficult game for America if they can't clear the ball out and string together something. Attempt on the volley. Oh, handball. Pablo Vasquez. The original keeper that was in goal for the team before they signed up all the free agent keepers. Shot taken, and as you can see, it comes right off the hand. First penalty kick of the season for either squad will be taken by Chigon Agbanlahor, the captain, the Italian. Nice run up and slots it in. No question about it. Comfortably placed, bottom corner. You can see Bayern, they are the squad in this game. It looks less like, will this be a contest, will this be a game, and more like, how many goals will Bayern be able to produce against this team? Cut out. Before they can even make it across half field, Bayern cut the ball, move it up to Agbanlahor. One-on-one. It's too easy. You can see Sasha Ziegler getting very, very frustrated with the guys in front of him, but he's already made a couple of key saves. He needs some help from his defense. I don't think he's getting it today. Great ball forward, one-on-one. Agbanlahor only has to beat Vasquez. Pulls Ziegler way out of position and actually uses Vasquez as a bit of a screen. Takes a shot, and there's no doubt. Just a little bit over halfway through this first half. Score is 3-0. And it's hard to see where America might be able to even come close to scoring a goal, let alone 3. They've had a single play up this right wing that looked promising, got a corner out of it, were unable to convert. And you can see that, like, on the field, it may not be part of their game plan, but Jimenez and Dalgard seem to be a couple of key players for America as the ball rolls out. Simple mistakes. There was no pressure on that pass, just something that could not be got on the end of. Arthur Guerin brought over in the trade that sent one of the players from America over to Man U and Luis Godin. But very, very little has been done with Guerin. Again, he's a natural goalkeeper. As Lostikovs gets on one-on-one, this time Vasquez is able to get across and cut it out. And maybe that's what Mesa Diaz is seeing in this team, the improvement that they're showing in situations, not drastic strides forward, mind you. These guys are not going to be world-class players at outfield positions. But if they can make strides forward, you may catch one or two teams off guard, may get a cheap goal, and maybe even a win. But against a team that, again, I had placed second bottom of the table going into the season, and we'll see how Inter does against Arsenal playing at the same time today. You got to say that Bayern looks like they can be a team that might actually be able to compete at the top of the table. Again, the quality of their opponent, not wonderful, as Agbonlahor gets another shot on goal. Ziegler diving save, picked up by Pereira on the outside. Back into the middle for Jimenez. Ziegler is a man that can make saves, and he proves it right there. Great free agent signing by America. The only guy that's actually doing anything positive, and unfortunately he has to continuously do it. If he had Carranza Toss, who's currently not even on the reserves bench, he's wearing a shirt and tie today. If he were out on the field, if Abbas Matarai, who is back home rebuilding, if the players that are designated as outfield players for this America squad were the ones that were on the field, I would feel much, much better about their chances as we reach halftime. This all keeper idea, I can't call it a thought. I don't know if there was any thought put into it. As we see Jimenez's shots on target, converting on the one, a beautiful save on the other one by Ziegler. Will Jimenez be able to do that kind of thing against opponents that aren't fielding players that have no idea how to dribble the ball at their feet? Next week, they end up taking on Arsenal, who that we could see that being a key game in where this Bayern squad finishes. If they can take a point off of a team that very possibly could be top of the table, then maybe we see them elevate themselves a little bit as well. So I still have question marks. Even though Bayern have controlled this first half, I have question marks as to what they will be able to do. Well, in the second half of this game, from the way it's been dominated so far, it feels like it's already over. Simple moves like the step over for Agbonlahor that just put him one on none. If America can't stop those, they're not going to stop the goals just coming in bunches. Next thing then becomes how many goals can Bayern put in? Can they put that goal differential so far out of reach that in games against teams like Inter, who could be around them in the table, against teams like maybe even Barcelona, who could potentially, depending how injuries go and what they're able to produce, could be around them in the table. Will this goal differential be the thing that keeps them separated from them as we enter the second half? Agbonlahor, Baquero, the movement between the players is just wonderful now, but we're also looking at a defense that can't press them. Pereira shot onto beautiful chip. Sasha Ziegler has made quite a few high-flying and well-coordinated saves Gets beat by the little up and over by his countrymate in Pedro Pereira. Perfectly placed back corner. Lofts it up and over. Beating the Icelandic keeper. Right back. Just over halfway through, we are at 4-0 to Bayern Munich, and it hasn't been just one person doing it. Like, Bonlahor does have the 2 goals, one coming off of the penalty, but yeah, you can see the chances are coming from all over the pitch for the team. It's not one man just dominating. It's a very collective group effort, which could be good, could be bad going forward. And again, we see Dalgard getting involved, not keeping the ball at his feet too much, being unselfish, moving it around. But he could be a guy that we watch and maybe develops into something. But I'd like to see what this America squad can do and what they can turn into for the rest of the season. There has to be some sort of method to the madness. There must have been something seen on the training pitch that the manager is grasping onto, going, you know what? I can make something of this that no one's ever seen, that no one's going to be able to stop, as the lofted through ball just a little bit out of reach goes out for a goal kick. But if you think about it, this America side, if something does come together, they will have amazing intangibles. Their size will be great. No one's going to be able to match up with them one-on-one. As we see our first subs, Park Hang-soo, a non-goalkeeper, coming onto the field. I think that might just be because the keeper pool is a little bit tight because of the players over in Africa. But he comes on for Jimenez in the middle, and Marcano on for Baquero for Bayern. He gets a very early first touch, gets it moved forward to Lustikovs. Marcano looking threatening in the box. Ooh. Good attempt. Snuffed out. I don't think it was so much of a defensive play as much as it was just I got stuck in the wrong position and it came to me. Good over the top ball. Once again, if Botaka can learn how to control a ball like that, then yeah, maybe we see something out of America. As of right now, though, his skill set does not allow for that possibility. Second set of substitutions, we are going to see Manuel Navarro coming on for Pedro Pereira. Navarro, more of a true winger than Pereira, who already has his goal on that beautiful little chip. Could open the field up even more for Bayern, which is a scary thing to think about as he gets the first touch. Good through ball. Justice Meyer. Once again, the German side with the German attacker scores on the German goalie playing in Mexico. The crowd not really loving the way the scoreline's going. You can hear some of the boos as we go up to 5-0. The game is, if it wasn't in hand at 4, then it's most assuredly in hand now. Well-placed ball crossing the net. This game has been pure domination. I think anyone that looked at these lineups on paper would have understood. It's not looking promising. Even in preseason, the there was 2 goals scored across 3 games for America as another through ball makes it to Botaka. This time he's able to control it, even holds it off by against 2 defenders. But this America squad only scored 2 goals in 3 games during preseason. Both of them not terrible goals, but both of them against their weakest opponent, against their most prolific opponent, as we see Marcano with a shot saved by Ziegler. If it weren't for the fact he'd given up 5 goals, I would say Sasha Ziegler should be our man of the match, but hard to justify man of the match being a guy who gave in a handful of goals regardless of the situation. But playing against Sporting KC in the preseason, we saw America give up 11 goals, and I think a lot of people questioned, why are we still doing this? As Nathan Potter comes on for Jordan Murnane and Reupload on for Jimenez. Proton's a guy that I'm surprised didn't get a nod into the starting lineup. He's big, he's strong, he helped produce goals in the preseason. As Navarro, the substitute, brings us to 6-1, or 6-0, mind you. Not a large man. Out there for his technical ability and speed more than anything, but finds a way to get in front of that back line and put one in. Very, very well placed. It was almost right at Ziegler, but he dug it into the ground well enough that Ziegler was unable to handle it off the bounce, got beat by it. And you see how many America players are just standing, watching the ball fall into the back of the net. No one's actively trying to make a play on the ball. And that's where you get a true outfield player as opposed to a keeper playing in the outfield. Ball moved around the back. Bayern, as much as they got a good move going forward right there, it never looked promising to attack. You could tell that they're just trying things at this point, trying to break them down. Another over-the-top ball, this time to Juricic. That right side looks very promising, even not great, but promising for America. As Dalgard moves the ball inside to Chavez. The slow motion dribble move by Stephenson gets by a man, but again, as a non-natural outfield player, you could see where the discomfort lies for him. Reupload getting into the attack, something I'm interested to see the results of, because again, he's a very big, very strong player. And although he usually plays a more defensive midfield role, he can get forward and he can produce shots on target. As Losikov's slots it in the bottom corner, 86th minute, 7-0 Bayern, and I hope for everyone's sake in the stadium that this is where it ends. It's getting painful to watch. The goals come from everywhere. They don't seem to be stopping. It's something that if America can break down and find a way to help give Sasha Ziegler some help, because he's made some great saves this game, one-on-one by himself. If America can provide him some help, they might have something. But until that happens, we're going to see score lines that you see young children having a problem counting. Looking forward to next week. Bayern goes home to play against Arsenal. And America travels away to Barcelona to play against a squad that this scoreline that we see today, depending on how well Barcelona can link things together, it might be worse. somehow it might be worse. We could be looking at a Sporting KC type scoring line from that. So far, though, Bayern have impressed me. I'm looking to see what they can do against a stronger opponent. Maybe keep an eye on what kind of chances they can create. That was my big question mark for them, was they don't have a player that is that guy on the roster as we come to full time. 7-0, thankfully. Thankfully, from an America perspective, this game is over. Sasha Ziegler, very dejected, as well he should be. He played an amazing game, but when you get about 35 shots sent at you from high-quality players, you can only do so much. Chigan Akbandahor, good first outing. 2 goals. I think the only player on Bayern to score multiple, but you see that they don't have an out-and-out number 9 who gets the ball at his feet and you know it's going in. They have a lot of great pieces. Question is, can those pieces ever really... will the parts exceed the sum of the whole, essentially? Very well balanced. Never really challenged today, so I can't say much on their defense, but there are players back there that should command respect. Next week is when Bayern season really starts. This was a 4th warm-up game for them. I hate to say it, America did not impress at all. Whatever the experiment with the all-keeper squad is, not working right now. We're going to have about a 10-minute long highlight reel of just Bayern putting the ball in the back of the net over and over and over again. I don't know what the plan is for America going forward. There are players that I think have promising futures over there. I think Dalgard did a very good job of controlling the ball at his feet, not trying to do too much, found some runs. There were some good over-the-top balls from Jimenez to Botaka. Arthur Guerin was a non-factor. Maybe slide him into net, give him a chance. Even though Ziegler, again, he played as well as he could, given the circumstances. I'm not sure what the America squad does. I don't know what they do across the back line. Clearly, that's a weakness. But we will see what they can put up. Next week, I would say, is going to be a test for them, but it probably won't. Even if they fielded their best team, I still have them ranked below Barcelona. So I feel like they're going to start the season, first 2 games in, very possibly at a minus 10 or more deficit in goals. But wrapping it up from Mexico City, Bayern 7, America 0. Thank you for watching, and check you later.